The Globe Theater was on the banks of the Thames River. Imagine 3,000 people in an audience with no indoor restroom facilities. We're going to have that same experience tonight because our wonderful design of this building, which is surrounded by a moat, has the sewer running from the building under the moat out to the street, or to the sewer in the street. Unfortunately, the pipe broke this morning. So they have shut off the sewers, or not shut them off, but we don't want to be putting sewage into the moat. So we have some wonderful porta potties outside on the parking lot. So this is a true Shakespeare experience. 3,000 people had to go, literally, wherever they could. So please don't use the stairwells. Tonight, in all seriousness, we're going to have some fun. We're not doing a performance. We're doing a presentation. Over the last month, students in our theater, our honors course, and our English course have worked together to study 3 plays of Shakespeare. You have the programs. Those 3 plays were written by William Shakespeare, and one of them, John Fletcher, joined in the writing. These are 3 later plays of Shakespeare. Everybody knows Othello. 2 of the later plays, Cymbeline and Two Noble Kinsmen, are sort of weird plays. We're going to start with Othello and work our way through Cymbeline to Two Noble Kinsmen, which was the last play that Shakespeare wrote. Our students in these 2 courses have worked together to study these plays closely, seriously, understanding word by word what happens. Then, these are not theater students. They are students who study the play. Shakespeare wrote the plays not for reading. The plays were not published until long after Shakespeare was dead. Shakespeare and company wrote the plays for presentation. You went to hear a play in Shakespearean times, in the 1600s, late 1500s, early 1600s. Queen Elizabeth and James were the regents. When Queen Elizabeth died, James took over. They sponsored players. Shakespeare's company was the chamberlain's man, and then became the king's man when James took over. These plays were written for public presentation. Very quickly, the company or the companies were performing 5 and 6 days a week with a different play every evening. Oftentimes the players had just gotten their scripts the day before the play was presented. So we have worked putting these plays together, and we have rehearsed over the last 3 days. This is not a performance. It's a presentation like Shakespeare's company might have experienced when they first came together and Shakespeare said, "You're going to do the role of the king, and you're going to do this guy named, Othello. Yeah, you're going to do Othello." So the actors got together and read. They presented to themselves a first reading of the play, which oftentimes was the only rehearsal they had. Now, we have been fortunate in having 3 days of rehearsal. Today, we had a very great rehearsal day, beginning at 10:30 this morning. So what you see is a reading, a first reading when we put a script on its feet. So, enjoy it. I think you'll find some sad moments, some scary moments, and some very funny moments. Our performers are not actors, but they have learned in 3 days how to present a show. Working with us today was an alumni, Zachary Chrisman, who came in today to coach our performers, to work through the plays with them. And I think he has done a magnificent job of making performers out of English and honors students. And the other person, there are two other people. Daniel Shea, who is somewhere up in the heavens. Daniel has put together this magnificent lighting just by watching the rehearsals and saying, okay, we need a light here, we need a light there. He's done a tremendous job of working with the lighting, of printing the programs you have, of being a man who puts things together when nobody else was around to do it. And the other person I really want to thank is my co-professor, co-teacher, Daniel Lockman. So, Daniel, you can say everything that I forgot.
Okay. Okay. John, we were very fortunate to have John. Before you sneak off,
I'm just going to go get a drink.
Yeah, we won't let you do that. What kind of drink? But
Scott.
Okay.
Single malt, if anybody wants to.
Okay. But before you get off to that,
Okay.
let me just mention that we're extremely fortunate at Texas State to have the resources and the experience and knowledge of John Wood, whose career spans more than 3 decades, more than two decades at Yale University, a decade at University of Texas, and we're very fortunate that he is here to give advice, coaching, and help with script writing. Our students, to do this tonight, didn't just read Shakespeare. They had to interpret Shakespeare, and they had to interpret it in many different ways. First, by looking at the text, then taking plays that typically run for 2 hours to 2.5 hours to get them to a 40-minute playing time. How did they do that? They cut. And to cut means to select. And to select means to interpret. And so they have provided their own interpretations by putting together the scripts that you'll hear tonight. These are original scripts that you're going to be hearing tonight, thanks to the students. And you're also going to be hearing their interpretation as it is performed. So they will have made literally thousands, tens of thousands of interpretive choices from what you see performed tonight. And so just to the students, I would like to say very much thank you. You folks have done a tremendous job. I can say this in advance, and we'll say it again afterwards. And I wanted to say thanks so much to John, who is a wonderful coworker and has such excellent instincts in that.
I'm very pleased to let you know that the new chair of the English department is Dan Lockman. So let us have the show.